is a gorgeous fall-like afternoon here at Wrigley Field as we get you set for Cubs baseball. It's the Hyundai leadoff man on WGN Sports. The Cubs welcome in the struggling Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates 3 games out on the wild card, but they've dropped 6 in a row. Hi again, everyone. I'm Len Castro. Welcome to the leadoff man. The Cubs will get comfortable here at Wrigley. 10 coming up, all against playoff contenders, 4 against the Pirates through Monday. The Reds come in Tuesday night for 3, and then next weekend the St. Louis Cardinals, currently leading the wild card. The Reds seem to be running away with the division. The Cubs coming off a 5-5 road trip, and Alfonso Soriano maybe had his best game of the year, one of the best games he's ever had as a Chicago Cub on Wednesday as they took 2 of 3 from the Astros. He had 3 hits, the home run, his 29th of the year. He would add a single, a double, 2 RBIs, and a walk as well. The 29 home runs, the most since 2008. He's knocked in 96 on the year, most he's ever had as a Cub. But the biggest improvement he's made this year defensively, great leaping catch. He turned that in to a 7-4-3 double play, biggest defensive play of that game Wednesday night. And he should be in that Gold Glove conversation in left field. So let's look at his first year as a Cub back in 2007. Now the RBIs, you got to note, he was a leadoff hitter back in 2007, so he only knocked in 70, but 96 knocked in. He's been by far the Cubs' best offensive player this season. We'll hear from Dale Swain coming up. The leadoff man brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata at myhyundaichicago.com.
Hyundai leadoff man. Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata at myhyundaichicago.com.
Well, the Cubs have 19 games to go. They need to go at least 7-12 to avoid just the third 100-loss campaign in franchise history. The Pirates are all of a sudden just 2 games over 500 after a 6-game losing streak. They've dropped 11 of their last 15. Still, however, just 3 games out in the wild card. Let's hear from Dale Swain on the Pirates and how desperate they are to win and get into the playoffs, and the Cubs situation.
They're playing for their life right now. Every game to them is a playoff game, and every game to us is kind of a playoff game in our own, in the players' minds, because they're talking about, staying away from the 100 losses. So it's kind of the tit for a tat. But we're in a place where obviously we've played pretty well this year and doing a good job. So just continue to to do the best we can is all we can do right now. But it's a day-to-day thing for us to win a baseball game, to stay away from that 100 loss point.
That's Dale Swain. Let's take a look at the big leagues first to third. The Orioles have already clinched their first non-losing season since 1997. I don't think they're going to stop at 81 wins, however. They start a huge series tonight against the other wild card leader, the Oakland A's. Boston Red Sox owner John Henry strongly denying a report that the Red Sox are for sale. And Chris Carpenter has a big 90-pitch sim game tomorrow. He's coming off shoulder surgery in July. He still would like to pitch for the Cardinals this season. We'll have more coming up from Wrigley Field.
Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata at myhyundaichicago.com.
Big day for Cubs first-round pick Albert Almora, right-handed hitting outfielder. As Almora at the Arizona League level and the Northwest League hit a combined .321. Jorge Soler, who the Cubs signed earlier this summer, will be here tomorrow before heading off to Instructional League. We have Cubs baseball coming up. Chris Russin against James McDonald. We'll have all the action coming up next. On a glorious Friday afternoon here on the north side of Chicago, WGN Sports brings you Chicago Cubs baseball. The Cubs open up a 10-game homestand against 3 playoff contenders, all from the National League Central, starting with 4 here against the Pirates. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Great to have you with us. Bob Brenly and Len Castro with you. The Pirates are struggling. They've lost 6 in a row. The Cubs swept them last weekend at PNC Park, and they'd love to spoil the party again this weekend.
Well, and they just might do that, Len. In a very disappointing season for the Cubs, one thing they've done relatively well is play here at Wrigley Field. A 500 record for the Cubs here at home, and for the Pirates 10 games under on the road. So yeah, it'd be nice to sweep the Pirates once again and continue their stumble here at the end of the season.
Rookie left-hander Chris Russin will go for the Cubs today, his 4th career start, still looking for that first win.
Well, hopefully it'll come today because he pitched well enough to win against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Went 5 strong innings, gave up 5 hits. The only run he surrendered was a solo bomb by Andrew McCutchen in the first inning.
James McDonald, good first half, bad second half, but you like to get to him early in that first inning.
Absolutely. 9 of his 20 home runs he surrendered this year have come in the first inning. Have your hitting shoes on early.
All right, we're set to go. Let's go down to the field for our national anthem.
Accompanied by Gary Pressey at the Lowry organ as they honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ball brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
And time to look at today's Mazda Drive to Victory. What the Cubs need to do today is break the tie. Look at these numbers since June 1st, 2010, about as even as you can possibly match up a couple of ball clubs. Hopefully the Cubs will break that tie here today. Drive to Victory brought to you by your local Chicagoland Mazda dealers. See your Chicagoland Mazda dealer for a test drive today at driveamazda.com.
Get the umpires for you this afternoon. This is a wraparound series which will end on Monday night. Mike Muchlinski behind the plate, Sam Holbrook at first, Rob Drake at second, and Joe West, the crew chief, over at third. Wonder where Rob Drake stays when he comes to town. Maybe the hotel named after him. Boy, what a great day for baseball. Mild temperatures, but lots of sunshine, little breeze coming in off the lake.
And before we get started, Len, we want to let our AT&T U-verse viewers in Chicago and around the country on WGN America know that during every Cubs home game this season, if you go to channel 780 or high def channel 1780, you can see a special multi-view presentation that shows you all of our different live camera angles right here at Wrigley Field. It's pretty cool. So if you want to direct the game along with Skip Ellison, give a look to AT&T U-verse channel 780 or high def channel 1780.
Let's get the weather report. 71 degrees, low humidity, not much wind, and yes, a great day for baseball.
Wind blowing in from right center field very gently at this point. Didn't appear to bother anybody during batting practice today. Balls were flying all over the stadium. This is one of those thin winds, partner.
And the Cubs take the field behind left-hander Chris Russin. Let's get the Pirates starting lineup. 14 runs over their last 6 games, all losses. Still no Neil Walker in their lineup. He's missed 15 in a row with back stiffness, so it's Brock Holt at second, Starling Marte in left, couple of rookies at the top. You have MVP candidate Andrew McCutchen in center, Garrett Jones in right, Gabby Sanchez over at first. Mike McHenry's back at the plate, Pedro Alvarez over at third, Clint Barmas at short, and the pitcher James McDonald.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively today behind Chris Russin. Brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Soriano in left, DeJesus in right. Good to see Brett Jackson in center field back in the lineup after crashing into the wall in Pittsburgh on the last trip. Also good to see Anthony Rizzo back in the lineup at first base after his spill at first. Darwin Barney at second, Castro at short, Valbuena at third. Clevenger doing the catching today for left-hander Chris Russin. Showed you the numbers for Russin's last outing against the Pirates on that last road trip. He picked up a no decision, went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 1 run. I mentioned the only run was a solo homer in the first inning to Andrew McCutchen. You'd like to think Chris Russin could follow the lead of Travis Wood. Very similar in style and the way they go about their business on the mound. Very similar stuff. Very similar builds. Just stay out of the middle of the plate, keep the ball down.
The outfield looks really good at the 2 Bruce Springsteen concerts last weekend. Field's in great shape, and as always, great work by Roger Baird and his grounds crew. So Brock Holt will lead it off. There was talk that Neil Walker was going to get back into the lineup today. He'll have to wait for another day at least.
Well, Holt's done a nice job average-wise at the top of the order. Hitting at a 364 clip, but Neil Walker's a guy that gives you some thump at that second base position, tied for the team lead with his 14 home runs. Well, actually, he isn't. That was another team, but he does have 14 home runs as a second baseman. Very impressive.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Well, it's interesting, just as you get deeper into the summer toward fall, the angle of the sun changes, the shadows change. We'll definitely have more shadows on the field later this afternoon than we would have in June, as Holt grounds out to start it.
Yeah, not only that, Len, but the sun will be a little bit more of a factor in the early part of the ball game, especially for left fielder Alfonso Soriano, and a little bit lesser for Brett Jackson in center than it normally would be, just as you mentioned, because where the sun is in the sky early in the ball game.
A little lower in the horizon, more toward the south. And it's Starling Marte, the left fielder. Just 1 out of 13 since he came back from the disabled list a week ago today. Russin working quickly in the 0-1, a swing and a miss. Quickly 2 strikes. Well, a couple of ways to look at it if you're Clint Hurdle. You're not happy your team has dropped 28 of 42 and 6 in a row as Marte strikes out. But you look at the standings 15 games ago, and that's, by the way, when Neil Walker went out of their lineup. They were 3 games behind the Cardinals for the final wild card spot. 15 games later, they have gone 4-11 and are still 3 back. Now, the other problem is the Dodgers are ahead of the Pirates as well, but they are fortunate to not be buried in the standings.
It's hard to look at the glass half full when you've gone 4-11 over your last 15 and had an opportunity to pick up a lot of ground on those teams ahead of you in the wild card race. It's where your ability as a manager to spin things and make them look better to your own players really comes into play.
Swing and a miss by McCutchen.
You know, I mentioned that home run that he hit off of Russin in Pittsburgh. That was the only hit Andrew McCutchen had in that entire 3-game series. They did a real nice job against the Pirates superstar center fielder.
That's in the dirt. 2-2 with Garrett Jones on deck.
And it was especially fun to watch Jeff Samardzija hook up against Andrew McCutchen. Hit him with a pitch on the left hip in his first at bat, and then proceeded to strike him out 3 times. Just overpowered him with fastballs.
Nice start for Russin. He strikes out 2 and goes 1-2-3. partner. The Cubs brought some pizza to the TV truck today, so everybody nice and full. It's brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. De Jesus, Valbuena, Rizzo. Good to see Anthony back in there, as Bob mentioned. Soriano, Castro, and Clevenger in the middle. Jackson, Barney, and Russin rounded out.
Here's how the Pirates will line it up defensively this afternoon. Marte, McCutchen, and Jones left to right across the outfield. Alvarez, Barmas, Holt, and Sanchez third to first across the infield. Michael McHenry doing the catching for right-hander James McDonald. It's really been a tale of 2 seasons for James McDonald. The first half as opposed to the second half. He's really good in the first half, 6-2 with a 2.73 ERA, 3-4 with an ERA just under 7 in the second half.
His last outing was a no decision against the Cubs, 3 runs in 5 2/3 on Saturday. As Jeff Samardzija went the distance in his final start of the year. 1-1 on De Jesus. 3 lefties to start it. That's high. And McDonald may be pitching for his spot in this rotation here over the final 3 weeks. We mentioned it last weekend when we were in Pittsburgh, and you get to this point in the year, if you're the Pirates, you play who produces. As that ball is down the right field line and it drops fair, and De Jesus on his way to second. He has a leadoff double.
Good start to the game. McDonald, middle of the plate fastball right there for De Jesus. As usual, he barrels it up down into that right field corner for a leadoff double. Get him over, get him in.
And it's Valbuena's job to at least get him over. And considering the Pirates have not been scoring a lot of runs lately, well, you can get an early lead even by a run or two. It could make the difference. Line to center. De Jesus ready to tag. McCutchen will get it in quickly, and De Jesus has to hold at second. We would love to hear from you. LennonBob@Tribune.com is our email address. And we are also available on Facebook and Twitter as well. Let's go to those websites /Len and Bob. Anthony Rizzo only missed 1 game and 2 full days with the off day yesterday after that collision with Brett Wallace in Houston. He was pretty sore, the right shoulder and upper back. It was very fortunate to avoid a major injury. I thought he blew out his knee. Really hyperextended his leg when he landed on the bag. I'm worried about a serious neck or head injury when he landed.
Shoulder. I mean, it's just as awkward a position as you will ever see a baseball player get in down here at first base. Legs flying one direction, upper body moving the other way. Lands awkwardly on the back of his neck and his right shoulder.
Inside, 3-0.
The manager gave him a little tough love down in Houston, though. After all the tests were passed, all the x-rays and MRIs came back negative. He asked him how he felt. He said, well, a little bit sore. Well, then go ahead. If all you are is sore, get in the cage, get some swings. Maybe it'll loosen up.
And he takes ball 4. Now, I was just thinking about Alfonso Soriano's year. 29 homers, 96 knocked in. And I suppose some who haven't seen him every day kind of look at what he's done and say, well, yeah, but he's done it for a team that's 31 games under 500. The pressure's been off. But I don't really buy that, because if he were in a lineup like the 2008 Cubs, someone could say, well, He's piling up hits and RBIs because people don't want to pitch to Derek Lee and Aramis Ramirez and Jim Edmonds. I mean, if you look at the Cubs lineup throughout this season, he's the one guy going into a series the other team's manager would tell his pitching staff, you can't let him beat us. And yet he has put up all-star caliber numbers all year long.
I think it just speaks to his ability to crush mistakes this year. There's no question he's the guy you want to pitch around in the Cubs lineup whenever you have an opportunity to take the bat out of his hands. But to still be able to put up the power numbers that he has this year means that when you do happen to make a mistake in that strike zone, he has rarely missed it.
Hitting .341 with 4 homers against the Pirates as he swings and misses. And I think the main reason teams still go after him is because you can get him out.
Yeah. Very similar to when Sammy Sosa was hitting all the home runs with the Cubs. He was also striking out 175 times a year. So you feel like if you can execute your pitches, you can still get him out. But it comes back to what you do when the opposing pitcher makes a mistake.
Breaking ball high, and it's 2-2. Donald is 27 from Long Beach, California. Acquired from the Dodgers at the trade deadline 2 years ago in the Octavio Dotel trade. One of about 30 in Dotel's career. I think everybody's been traded for Dotel, right?
At one point or another, yeah. Either as the headliner in the deal or a throw-in.
Full count with Castro on deck. Cubs have won 5 of their last 6. As they try to keep it going. A difficult homestand on paper with 3 teams all in the playoff chase. And the pitch out in front as he lines it foul.
I guarantee you, though, for those teams that are in a playoff race at this point, they're not taking anything for granted. I know that from experience. These are the kind of teams that are dangerous at this time of year. The Cubs, they've got nothing to lose. They've got a bunch of guys just out there playing freely and looking for good pitches to hit, trying to hit them hard, show the coaching staff what they're capable of doing moving forward. And when you're a playoff-bound team, these are dangerous ball clubs to play against.
Popped into right as Garrett Jones comes in. Well, let's take a look at today's Illinois lottery. Anything's possible situation, we'll call it. You go back to the September 1st. You know, the standings haven't changed that much. The biggest change would be the Brewers and Phillies are now back in it. But again, the Pirates haven't lost much ground. The anything's possible situation is brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, who each day make anything possible. Cardinals beat the Dodgers last night 2-1. Both teams had struggled going into that series. The Dodgers have now lost 7 of 8. The Phillies dropped a 6-4 decision at Houston to start that big 4-game series for the Phillies. It ended their 7-game winning streak. Phillies had a 4-0 lead early and couldn't finish the deal. Oh, one to Castro. Popped up behind second base. Barmes makes a catch, and the Cubs waste a leadoff double. And we're scoreless after 1. 15th for Hispanic Heritage Family Day. That's tomorrow. Come watch the Cubs as they battle the Pirates at 12:05. Fans entering the park will get a Starlin Castro poster, compliments of Frosted Flakes. For more info and to purchase tickets, go to Cubs.com. Jones, Sanchez, and McHenry for the Pirates against rookie lefty Chris Russin, trying to grab his first major league win.
Well, you know, Len, this may be the most exaggerated pull shift we've seen the Cubs use on the infield with Garrett Jones at the plate, even against a left-handed pitcher. Starlin Castro not only on the second base side of the bag out there, but several steps on the second base side of the bag.
Well, I like these matchups, partner. Guys born in the Midwest. Garrett Jones from Harvey, Illinois. High school in Tinley Park. Andrew High School. Chris Russin's from Detroit. A lot of good baseball here in the Midwest. And as we've often said, spring training here is usually in a high school gym.
Yep. First live outdoor action you see is generally the first game of the season. You're able to roll the tarps off the field and shovel the snow off the baselines and go get them.
Strike on Gabby Sanchez. This is per usual. This is the only matinee. Everything else around baseball later tonight. Fly to right. And it's David DeJesus for the second out. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Well, no guarantees as Michael McHenry steps in. But on paper, the White Sox Game 4 matchup of their series against Detroit looks a little bit better than it did last night. They got washed out, and they're going to make up last night's game on Monday afternoon. Instead of facing Justin Verlander, they will get Doug Fister. So Chris Sale, who was supposed to pitch last night, will go tonight. Gavin Floyd, I guess, will end up pitching twice in that series against Detroit. Swing and a miss. And as we go to break, we'd like to send out condolences to the Beck family on the loss of a great Cub fan, our good friend Bob Beck. Double by DeJesus in the first as catcher Steve Clevenger looks at a strike. Well, I know the Cubs have been out of it for a while and have been reduced to playing spoiler here lately. I suppose it's easy for some guys to look at the calendar and start to make plans in October, but a lot of these guys on the roster have a lot to play for individually as we look ahead. It'll be McCutchen to make the catch.
Hey, Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Dale Swaim, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
And for the fans and for us, we get to see Cubs of the present, hopefully the future, like Brett Jackson, Anthony Rizzo, Starlin Castro. And who wouldn't want to be at Wrigley Field on a day like this?
It's absolutely beautiful.
How you dial it up. Jackson missed a week. The fence in Pittsburgh didn't even miss a day.
No. What a tremendous effort by Jackson, going back diagonally across the warning track. Never broke stride, never slowed down, just slams into that wall. His knee hit a padded pole near the bottom of the fence. That was where most of the damage was done, his right knee. But much like Anthony Rizzo, just general body soreness from the awkward angle with which he crushed into that fence.
Having players play like Brett Jackson does and did on that particular catch. Wouldn't call it a rarity per se, but a manager would much rather have a guy like that. And you don't want to take away that aggressiveness as opposed to the other way around, a guy who won't do that. The result will be the occasional injury, and you hope none of them are serious. 2 outs. Cub fans, make sure you check out our WGN Baseball blog, brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, nationwide agent serving the area for 33 years. You can contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. I have a post on this long 10-game homestand. And as always, we have good photos. We'll have our Stats Sunday feature coming up this Sunday, written by fine baseball columnist from Yahoo Sports, Jeff Passan. We look forward to that. Trying to think off the top of my head if I can think of any guys who played for you or with you who were aggressive to the point of reckless. The only guy I can think of is Dan Gladden. Is there another guy you played with who just didn't care if he got hurt? He was going to make the catch no matter what. It was a base hit for Barney. That's a new career high in terms of a hitting streak for Darwin Barney. 9 games.
Fastball up and out over the plate. Cubs hitters taking advantage, going to the opposite field. This time it's Darwin Barney dunking one into right field for a 2-out base hit. Getting Chris Russin up here to the plate in this inning. There were a lot of guys I played with who had very little regard for their own safety when it came to catching batted balls, but I think I'd have to put Danny Gladden right at the top of the list.
Did he suffer any major season-ending injuries when you played with him?
I don't think Danny had the ability to immediately recognize pain. You know, he played with a lot of bumps and bruises, a lot more serious injuries than that. He just wasn't going to let the training staff or the coaching staff know that he was injured.
Russin pops into shallow left and a base hit. Well, his first career hit was a triple in his first career at bat. That's his second hit.
That triple was struck really well. That one just a little floater into shallow left, but they all count. Chris Russin, in his early major league career, showing the ability to get the bat on the ball, give you a good at bat out of that 9 spot in the lineup, and this time ends up with a base hit to left. Which becomes hugely significant because the man at the plate looks like he's about to get real hot again. David DeJesus goes through some small stretches of the season where not getting the results he would like, but when he gets hot and starts squaring it up, he can drive that ball all over the ballpark.
Curveball missed outside. 1-0 the count. Two and 0. Bob, if you are the Pirates, you may have felt some pressure mounting as they were very much in the race. They're still in the race, but I think most pundits, people on the outside, have counted them out. And I wonder if the reverse effect will take place here over the next week or so, and that is the pressure will be off. And maybe they can relax a little bit. Again, they're going to be here for the next 4 days. These are all very big games for the Pirates. We're scoreless after 2. That's Christina Lucas from Riverwoods, Illinois, on the U.S. Olympic team that competed in London. She was on the women's diving team. The 3-meter springboard also competed in Beijing, threw out a ceremonial first pitch. And we want to remind you, Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. The Chris Russin fan club is here.
Very professional looking sign, I'll tell you. Dues must be outrageous in the Chris Russin fan club.
How much were the dues in the Tito Francona fan club?
Well, pretty much just show up for the meetings, me and my neighbor. That was it, 2 of us.
Pedro Alvarez sat out on Wednesday with a sore right wrist, but in the lineup hitting 7th here today. 1-1. Well, the Cubs winning 5 of 6. You'd imagine they've been getting good pitching, and you'd be right as Barney gobbles it up. Cubs have given up 2 or fewer earned runs in 6 in a row with a 1.36 ERA. Strike on Clint Barmas. From Vincennes, Indiana, and we know partner Vincennes is what? The oldest town in Indiana.
State history.
He did not get any Division I scholarship offers out of high school. Late bloomer Clint Barmas will become the Pirates' first base runner. Gets hit by a pitch. Eventually ended up at Larry Bird's alma mater, Indiana State.
Takes one right off the left hip pocket. Head on down to first base, setting up a potential bunt situation with James McDonald at the plate. And we were talking a little bit about it earlier, playing baseball in the Midwest. Unfortunately, occasionally guys will slip through the cracks because of the shortened playing season, the lack of exposure that you get in front of scouts. That one's going to go all the way to the backstop. Be a pass ball on Steve Clevenger. No question, pitch up and into McDonald, but you want to elevate the pitch on a bunt situation, hoping that the batter will pop it in the air, and indeed that'll be a pass ball. Yeah, you play baseball in the Midwest. Like you said, a lot of your off-season workout is done in a gymnasium or in a weight room, and many times you don't even get to set foot on a field until your first game of the season. The playing season itself is a lot shorter than those in the southeast or the western parts of the country. And for obvious reasons, that's where a lot of the scouts are going to spend their time, where guys are playing ball every day, year-round. So occasionally a guy like a Clint Barmas will slip through the cracks.
You know, a lot of colleges in the Midwest, they'll spend the first, 2-3 weeks in Florida or Arizona, make a tour through those states to start their seasons. 2-0 pitch to McDonald's, tap foul. McDonald spent a couple of years primarily playing the outfield in the Dodgers chain. Drafted in 2002. Played some outfield in 2004 and 2005.
Another phenomenon you see, especially in the smaller schools around the Midwest, because you have such a small talent pool to choose from. If you're an athletic young man, you're expected to play everything. You should play football, you should play basketball, you should play baseball. If you have a way to wedge in any other sports to help your school field a team, that's what you're expected to do, as opposed to places like Arizona, California, Florida. If you're a baseball player, you basically play baseball 12 months a year.
Time called. I ran a little track during a baseball season. Did you know I was a pole vaulter?
Really?
Yes. I wasn't very good, but that yes.
What was your best?
I don't even remember. Not very good. Good effort by Clevenger, and a good catch by a fan. In the front row.
A nice catch by the fan. We'd much rather have Steve Clevenger make the catch. Just couldn't quite get far enough into the stands there, as you see that gentleman make a nice leaning catch and stay on his feet.
Swing and a miss. Fourth strikeout already for Russin. 2 outs.
He's made real good use of that elevated fastball already in this game. All 4 strikeouts of the swinging variety, 3 of them coming on high fastballs.
There's a strike. Leadoff man Holt.
I'll tell you, partner, a beautiful day today. I don't know what it looked like in your neck of the woods yesterday, but it looked like it could snow in downtown Chicago yesterday. Gray and white, fluffy, winter-looking clouds. Pretty stiff breeze blowing off the lake, making it feel a lot cooler than it really was. Way too early for that. This is much more like it.
Yeah, I would agree. Holt bounces to Rizzo. And Wesson through 3, hasn't allowed a hit. We are scoreless at Wrigley. And good news, Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union have reached the outlines of an agreement. More details coming up at 5 o'clock. A lot of kids at the ballpark, which we like to see. And they are not skipping school today, but next week they will be. 1-1 on Luis Valbuena. Make it 2-1. I guess the word is school will open as early as Monday. That one's tomahawked into right. Jones will play it off the barrier out there, and Valbuena taking a look at Pat Listash, who tells him to hang on at second. Cubs have their second leadoff double, already 4 hits against James McDonald.
If the Cubs can take advantage of this leadoff double, high fastball, you mentioned, tomahawked into that right field corner. I thought Luis Valbuena was a good high ball hitter. You see him picking up Pat Listash that time. Stop sign was thrown up, so he'll hold at second with the leadoff double. The way the Pirates have been playing lately, I'd like to get an early lead on them. Anytime a team is scuffling and struggling and sees opportunities go out the window almost on a nightly basis, the sooner you can take a lead on them in the ballgame, force them to play catch up, much better your chances of winning a ballgame, especially against a struggling team.
Well, their losing streak, and they got blown out last Friday 12-2 by the Cubs. Those are the kinds of losses you quickly just forget about. Remember, they committed 7 errors. Since then, they've lost 4-3, 4-2, 4-3 in 14 innings, 5-3, and 2-1. Just excruciating 1- and 2-run losses.
Yeah, those are excruciating because you could go back to every one of those 1-run losses and find a situation in the game or an opportunity to maybe score another run or take another run off the board from the other team, and those are the kind that really eat at you as a manager. Everybody's going to get blown out from time to time. You just forget them and move on.
Donald back in it, now 2-2.
I mean, this is the time of the year where a manager really earns his money. I truly believe that, Len. I mean, X's and O's, when to sacrifice bunt, when to pull a pitcher, those are things that are relatively routine for most big league managers, but the ability to keep your team focused, keep them positive at the most crucial time of year, I think that's the best attribute a manager can have. Keep your guys pushing hard.
Clint Hurdle led the Rockies into the World Series in 07. And 2 bounces. Here's a will move. Valbuena to third with 1 out.
Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how'd you like to have dinner with the Cubs' Matt Garza? Just go to any Chicagoland Walgreens and look for the keyword at the Pepsi Max display. Then mail in the keyword to WGN and you could be having dinner with Matt Garza from Pepsi Max, Walgreens, and WGN.
Pirates will bring their infield in. What was the line he used after the game on Wednesday? Total package. Soriano's a fun guy to be around in the clubhouse. Just another day in the show, babe. Fouled off, 1-2. There are certain 4 hitters in baseball. Clint Hurdle would have put up 4 fingers. Just walk him, set up a double play. But most teams don't do that with Soriano in this spot. Donald's thinking strikeout. Big leg kick in the pitch, and he does strike him out on a fastball. It was up. Up a little too high for Soriano. That's the first strikeout of the day for McDonald.
Well, that's one hole you can exploit on Alfonso Soriano, that fastball up near the top of the zone or sometimes even a little bit higher. And of course we know about the slider off the outside corner for a ball. We will chase that one also, but we were talking about earlier, if you make a mistake, if that fastball is a couple of inches a little bit further down toward the middle of the plate, or that slider catches too much plate, he will hurt you.
Infield back, Castro out front, crushed it foul.
I think the decision whether or not to walk Alfonso Soriano intentionally or go after him, a lot of it has to do with how the hitter behind him is swinging the bat, but also how is your pitcher on the mound commanding his pitches today. If Clint Hurdle feels like James McDonald can execute those pitches that Soriano has trouble with, then you let him go after him. If McDonald is struggling with his slider command or command of his fastball early in the ballgame, maybe you decide to walk Soriano in that situation.
And the Cubs grab the lead on Castro's RBI single. He's knocked in 72 this year. It's 1-0.
There's still a lot of question marks as to where Starlin Castro is going to fit into the lineup moving forward. Personally, I like him in an RBI spot because he puts the ball in play. He gets his hits. He might not ever hit 25 home runs in a season. He may never drive in 100 in a season. But I think if he's hitting in that 5, 6, 7 area of any lineup, he's going to get some RBI opportunities. And because he makes so much contact, gets so many base hits, I think maybe 100 isn't out of the question as far as RBIs for a guy like Castro.
72, a career high. He's hit 12 homers, also a career best. Now back by Clevenger.
Because of his speed and his ability to hit his way on base a lot of people feel he should be somewhere up at the top of the order ahead of the run producers, but I don't like him as a run producer himself.
One thing that we have found, it doesn't matter where you put him, his approach doesn't change.
Nope.
Along those lines, there may be a few guys who can alter their offensive approach depending on where they bat in the lineup, but by and large, I'm not sure a lot of guys can do that well. I don't know if you'd want to ask many guys to do it because they get here for a reason. We often talk about trying to take all the external thoughts out of your head when you're in there in the batter's box. How many times do you hear about guys who are 2 hitters or 6 hitters and they become 3 or 4 hitters and then they try to start pulling everything and hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and it totally changes their game. I know Keith Moreland talked about that. It was a year in his career when he was asked just to hit home runs. So it really messed him up. He could always drive him in, but he said trying to hit home runs was not my game. And that's the job of an organization and a manager, to recognize a guy's strengths and put him in that best position to succeed, as we say, right?
Yep. And I have no statistical data to back this up whatsoever, but it seems to me like veteran guys who are used to hitting at the bottom of the order. You know, for example, that backup shortstop that always hits 8th when he starts. Well, on those rare occasions, maybe you decide to slide him up to the number 2 hole. I think those guys are a little more accustomed to giving themselves up for the good of the team, maybe more likely to hit behind a runner, sacrifice their at bat to put a guy into scoring position for others that come up after him in the lineup.
I mean, the rare chances you had to be a leadoff hitter, did you fundamentally change who you were as a hitter?
Absolutely not. Nothing about it. I mean,
got to bat more.
Yeah, the reason I got to bat leadoff a couple of games was because I was taking my walks. My on-base percentage was good. I was getting my hits. So really nothing whatsoever changed about my approach those rare instances when I did hit leadoff.
Castro runs on a 3-2. And McCutchen will come in and retire Clevenger. But Castro with the RBI single, 2-out hit. In fact, to knock in Valbuena, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
Oregon, raise your glass, always in moderation, to life, love, and loot. Today we have WGN radio personality Jonathan Brandmeier singing the 7th inning stretch.
And tomorrow we'll see the Cub debut of right-hander Jason Birkin, a Green Bay, Wisconsin native. He's actually a Packers season ticket holder. He was not gloating this morning, but he said he purchased 30 tickets for family and friends to come down from Green Bay, and he told them, "Wear your Cubs stuff. You don't need to upset anybody." So we'll get a look at him tomorrow against Wandy Rodriguez, and then Chris Volstad on WGN Sunday afternoon will face lefty Jeff Locke. Bunted foul by Marte. And let's look at our forward upcoming Cubs schedule. 12:05 start here tomorrow. 1 o'clock for the leadoff man on Sunday. And again, Monday night, these two teams will wrap up the series. Ford, manufacturers of more fuel efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Last night, in terms of the local sports scene, ended up being kind of a dud. You had Justin Verlander and Chris Sale due to match up in a huge game with playoff implications. It got rained out, and the Bears just could not get anything going up in Green Bay. One and two. Don't get me wrong, I love football, but one of the great things about baseball, when you lose a game, you get right back out there the next day. The Bears have to wait, what, 9 or 10 days before their next one? A hard time sleeping after that one. But I guess the way you look at it, in the NFL, every game they play is like 10 games of baseball. Either a 10-game winning streak or a 10-game losing streak.
That's why they have 75 coaches.
Right. Castro tried to backhand and couldn't. That's an error. You saw he kind of deliberately tried to backhand. A little bit of an in-between area in terms of getting in front of it or backhanding.
Well, backhanding will put you in a better throwing position. You can see if he does come up with that cleanly, he just plants the right foot and fires across the diamond. Much easier to get rid of the ball quickly with a backhanded play rather than take that extra step, get in front, and now you've got to get your feet into a throwing position. I don't fault the approach that time by Castro. I think it was right. He just didn't look it all the way into his glove.
Shouldn't have been too tricky a hop. They just went around the infield, the grounds crew, after the 3rd inning. I believe after the 6th as well, and smooth out the infield dirt. So the Pirates still without a hit, but they've had 2 base runners, a hit batter, and now an error. I hate to put anybody on in front of Andrew McCutchen, especially against a lefty. Came in hitting .413 against lefties, tops in the majors. He did strike out in his first at bat. Not too shabby against righties either.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he does okay against righties, but really dominates the lefties this season.
Fastball strike, 2-2. McCutchen has hit .382 in his career here at Wrigley. Still coming in off the lake, but as Bob mentioned, a thin breeze today. And McCutchen strikes out. So Russin has fanned him twice. MVP candidate, but he hasn't figured out the lefty to this point.
McCutchen starts from that wide open stance, and it looks like he's closing himself off a little bit more than we saw him earlier this season. He would start with that wide open stance and then get back to even when he made his final stride toward the pitcher. But in that particular at bat, looks like, especially from our vantage point up here in the press box, like he was really closing himself off.
Marte goes as Jones fouls it away.
Come watch the Cubs as they battle the Reds this upcoming Tuesday night right here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs Stretch to Fit book cover, compliments of Pepsi. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. That's in case any of your books gained weight since you were last in school. Stretch to Fit book cover.
Pirates don't straight steal a whole lot. And they're going to have Marte here. 1-3-6. Only 58 steals. They've now been caught 47 times. That's the most caught stealings in the majors.
He just took off on first movement that time. Chris Russin, to his credit, gave Marte a bunch of different pickoff moves over to first base. A high, slow leg kick, a slide step pickoff. He even stepped off the rubber and snapped to throw over to first base. Ultimately, Marte just decides to take off on first movement. Fortunately, the Cubs were picking at first once again.
They made way too many outs in the bases. Their stolen base percentage, a major league low, 56%. That's not good.
Some of those, I'm sure, were broken hit and run plays.
Well, by comparison, the Phillies, who always seem to lead the majors, they're at 83.2%. Stolen base can be a good weapon, but only if you're successful a lot. I usually say 3 out of 4 times at least. Whenever we say they say, there is a group of anonymous members of a tribunal who are only reachable via the internet, but you need a password, which I don't have. Actually talk to they. But they determine all these things. They'll make the third out at third base. Darwin Barney gets Garrett Jones, and they are telling me it's time to go to break. 1-0 Cubs. pitcher profile protecting home for the Cubs and A's. Anthony Recker, pride of Allentown, Pennsylvania. As Brett Jackson, it's a foul pop-up. No play for Pedro Alvarez. Cue Billy Joel again. There you go. Xfinity Home offers state-of-the-art features that help you stay connected to your home and family anytime and anywhere. If you'd like to download that song, it's on the Nylon Curtain album.
Sounds like somebody's been listening to Billy Joel lately.
Not by choice, just kind of popped up on the radio one day and I can't get it out of my head.
Brett Jackson's been a much more patient hitter leading up to the injury a week ago. Had drawn 13 walks in his last 18 games, coinciding with the little tweak to his approach there at the plate. Faces a high fastball that time for strike 3.
Second strikeout for McDonald. Hey, great to see our good friends from the Chicago Blackhawks. John McDonough on the right. Brian Garza from the Cubs ticket office next to him. Jay Blunk, Stan Bowman, Al McIsaac, and David Knickerbocker all here from the Blackhawks enjoying Cubs baseball.
Apparently it's no tie Friday.
I have a feeling John's going to hear from you.
We got one there.
Stan with the tie.
Stan must be the designated driver. No, I guess not.
3-1. And Darwin Barney draws the walk. He's been on twice. Bring up Chris Russin. Cubs have had at least one base runner every inning. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and now 1 here in the fourth, leading 1-0. Congrats to Mets pitcher R.A. Dickey, this year's winner of the Branch Rickey Award. That's a community service award. So Dickey won the Rickey Award. Off of third, Alvarez just couldn't get there in time.
And Branch Rickey Award, one that doesn't get a lot of pub around the game or around national media outlets, but one that the winners every year should be very proud of. Just the guys that are nominated should be very proud of that award for their community involvement, their willingness to lend their name and their dollars to various charitable organizations, be the spokesperson for whatever the cause may happen to be. Congratulations to R.A. Dickey and all the past winners and all those who were nominated this year.
And that you have the Roberto Clemente Award as well. They're not awards guys campaign for at all, but as Russin flies out to Marte and left.
The 2012 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN TV is brought to you by Bud Light Lime-A-Rita, the ready-to-drink margarita with a refreshing twist of Bud Light Lime.
DeJesus with Barney at first, 2 outs. And the Pirates pitch out. McDonald almost airmailed that over McHenry.
You know, and that's a play that gets very little practice time because it's used so infrequently, that pitch out. But especially when you're facing a team that likes to run a lot, I think it's important before the first game of the series that as your pitchers are warming up to go into the ball game, throw a couple of pitch outs. There's a real good chance against a running team that you may have to use it. And for some of these guys, they haven't thrown a pitch out since they left spring training. The idea is you just throw a good, firm, 4-seam fastball right in the middle of the opposite batter's box, chest high. The catcher will come out from his crouch, get a little momentum going into the pitch. Ideally, you catch that throw on your throwing side and you're ready to unload to second base quickly to thwart that running game. But when you call a pitch out and the guy tries to throw it over your head or throws it back over the heart of the plate or gives you a tough low pitch out to handle, it defeats the purpose of the strategy.
Ball 4. You kind of get a feel for starting pitcher, and James McDonald seems to be there for the taking. He's given up, as we mentioned, a lot of base runners. The Cubs with 1 run, but obviously the Pirates feel the same way as they're going to have some early action in their bullpen. Ray Searage coming out, and the leash is way shorter with 20 games to go than it would be in the middle of June.
No question about it, especially given James McDonald's struggles in the second half of the season. The way he was throwing the ball in the first half, you might give him a little bit more rope. Because he had proven in the first half of the season that he could right the ship in those occasions when he started to lose it a little bit. But in the second half, he has not shown that ability. I mean, it has been a drastic change from the first half to the second half. I mentioned some of the numbers earlier, the wins, losses, and ERA. But in the first half, he threw 110 innings, gave up 7 home runs, and a .570 OPS. Very, very good numbers. Coming into this start today in the second half, 57 in the third innings pitched. He'd surrendered 13 home runs, and the OPS was over 900. So he is not the same guy he was in the first half of the season.
A righty and a lefty up, LaRue and Wilson. Valbuena doubled and scored the lone run in the third. Donald needs another start against the Cardinals. Unfortunately for him, they're not on the schedule over the final 3 weeks. 2 really good starts against St. Louis, and it's been a major struggle against everybody else since the break. 13 scoreless innings versus the Cardinals here in the second half. The 2-0 to Valbuena, missed again. Key guy for Clint Hurdle right now is Justin Wilson. He's trying to get loose as quickly as possible. You've got Anthony Rizzo on deck. Three and one. In some ballparks with the bullpens out beyond the fences, you know, in the gaps, starting pitcher may not even be aware guys are getting ready. You can't really avoid it here.
Nope.
You hear the mitts popping. They're only about 150 feet away from the game mound.
Especially with the runner at first base, you go into your stretch position, you peek over your shoulder to see where the runner is, and in the background you see two pitchers just cranking it up as fast as they can. Yeah, it's hard not to notice it.
Runners go on the 3-2, and it's fouled to the backstop. Kind of hard to remember Valbuena was on the Cubs opening day roster. We found out that morning he had been claimed from the Blue Jays, and he was on the roster for only a couple of days before being sent outright to AAA Iowa on April 7th. But he's been here since June 14th, brought back from the minors. Ball 4 to load him up. He has walked the bases loaded. Based on something I read recently from Clint Hurdle, not a surprise he's coming out. He said you'd rather take your guy out one batter too early than one batter too late. So it will be Wilson in for the starter McDonald. Cubs lead by a run, and they have him loaded with 2 outs in the 4th. Play. The Jesse White tumblers performed before the ball game.
Oh my,
unbelievable.
They really are.
See what's possible with AT&T Uber's high-speed internet. AT&T, rethink possible. Well, we are in September, and when you get into September, you have situations like this. You take your starter out in the 4th inning, and instead of bringing in your top left-hander, you bring in a guy who is making his 4th major league appearance. This is a big moment for the Pirates and for Justin Wilson.
You can even play a little bait and switch at this time of year. Start a right-handed pitcher. You get the opposing manager to load up with left-handed bats in the lineup, and then pull the plug on your starter in the 1st inning.
Lined in the right for a base hit. Cubs are going to get 2. Barney scores. DeJesus in. It's a double, and it's 3-0.
Comes relatively early here today in the bottom of the fourth. Our Nissan drive of the game. Pirates bring in a lefty to face Anthony Rizzo. Big deal. Probably doubles down into that right field corner. Get to your Nissan dealer for special offers. Nissan, innovation that excites. Visit choosenissan.com.
And that's it for Wilson.
Thanks for stopping by.
So the Cubs take advantage of the 3 walks by McDonald. And Chris LaRue coming in. Second and third. Innings still alive. We'll be back. Overall in the draft, Albert Almora from South Florida. And did a nice job. Combined .321 batting average in 33 games in Arizona and in the Northwest League. Jorge Soler will be here tomorrow. Take some BP. A wide open stance for Almora. Here's Chris LaRue.
Slider, fastball pitcher in that order. Throws a lot of sliders. Soriano with the slider down low.
LaRue, a former Florida Marlin. 1-0 pitch. The slider was up. Soriano fouled it back. In the hole, Barmes bobbling. Everybody's safe. Valbuena scores. It's a single for Soriano. He gets his 97th RBI, and it's 4-0. All 3 guys who walked have come around to score this inning.
Much like Starlin Castro, Barmes tries to go to the backhand. He had to cover a little more ground to get to that ball, but hit him in the heel of the glove. Dropped down to the ground. Rizzo running with his head up between second and third base. Didn't round the bag too far. That was really the only chance Barmes had, is if you get Anthony Rizzo taking an aggressive turn around third base and throw behind the runner, but Rizzo stopped right on the bag. Barmes had no play.
Rough day for the starter McDonald, charged with 4 runs in just 3 2/3 innings. certainly a possibility his next outing could come in relief. It looked like the Pirates were at least a shoo-in to finish over 500. That's in jeopardy. They're only 2 games over. They need to go 9-11 at least for their first non-losing season in 20 years. From Montreal, Quebec, Canada, went to high school in Mississauga, Ontario. Later attended Winthrop University. Cued off the end of the bat, picked up by LaRue, and he'll underhand to Sanchez to end the inning. The Cubs use 3 walks and score 3 runs. 4-0.
Fifth inning is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank, member FDIC.
Let's see if Chris Russin can get through 5 innings here. He hasn't given up a hit through 4. And can qualify for his first major league victory. He's leading 4-0. 22-21 in his minor league career. Mostly as a starter. And he's pitching here at the big league level for the 4th time. Ball 1 to Gabby Sanchez. Well, 4 would seem to be the magic number. The Pirates are 57-20 when they score at least 4 runs. Hit well. Soriano is going to have to chase it down. 1 hops off the wall and he dropped it. He might have had a shot at Sanchez, who's into second with a double. That's their first hit. They have not gotten to 4 runs during this losing streak, which is at 6. And they trail here 4-zip.
Somehow on that low inside pitch, Sanchez managed to get the barrel down and threw the ball with a lot of backspin. Soriano took a very flat line over into the gap in left center field. And that ball just shot over his head out near the door. Even though he dropped it, I don't think he had a chance to Sanchez at second base. So a leadoff double here for the Buccos.
Pirates actually lead the league in road home runs. They have 91 homers away from PNC Park. They've only surpassed that on the road in a single season 2 other times in franchise history. McPherson, possible starting candidate at some point before the season ends. Up in the bullpen. Got him. Called strike 3. Like Russin got him on a backdoor cutter.
Well, McHenry is such a drastic middle of the plate in pull hitter. You can freeze him on those off-speed pitches on the outside corner, and that's exactly what Chris Russin did. A cutter right to the outside corner.
Fouled off by Alvarez, who's hit .301 with a National League high 16 home runs during the day. Kick and the pitch. It bounced out in front of home plate. Clevenger had that ball in the worst possible spot.
I think he
right under his nose.
I think he actually used home plate umpire Mike Machlinski to help block that one. Like a breaking pitch in the dirt. And when Clevenger assumed the blocking position, the ball kind of kicked back to his right a little bit. I think it hit the home plate umpire. I don't know how much of Clevenger it caught that time. Get another look here. Goes down to block that breaking pitch.
Yep.
Call. No such thing as a bad block, even if you use the umpire. As long as you hold that runner at his base, it was a good block. You can see that breaking ball. We've talked about the rotation on the pitch, determining where the bounce is going to go when that ball hits in the dirt. And that time the breaking ball kicked back to Clevenger's right. He was sliding to his left.
Into left center. Only good news is Sanchez had to hold up. They are going to send him, however, in a double clutch by Soriano and no throw by Castro. It's 4-1 as the Pirates get on the board.
I mean, Nick Leyba, the third base coach, was waving Sanchez around before he even got within 10 steps of third base. He was not going to hesitate to send. You've got Soriano moving a little bit to his left. The little stumble right there, I don't think that affected the play at all. He was going to send the runner regardless. And I mean, Sanchez even went back to the bag. There you can see him waving him on around. He was a good 5 or 6 steps away from third base when Nick Leyva was waving him home, and he's able to score without a play.
The first 2 hits of the day, and now their first run. A pitch to Barmas, found back. Jose Tabata is in the on-deck circle. You see a lot of the Pirates bullpen today. We've already seen 2 of their relievers in the 4th inning. Oh, 0-2. Barney will take it. 2 outs.
Don't miss the action as the Cubs host the Cards next Friday, September 24th, right here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will receive a Cubs t-shirt compliments of Budweiser. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Here's Tabata, the pinch hitter. He was a Pirates opening day right fielder and number 2 hitter. But then would later spend a month and a half in the minors in the middle part of the year. Just a little time recently with a bruised foot. Just missed outside. See the Blackhawks brass now chatting with Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts. Two and 2 on the pinch hitter Tabata. A run in. The Cubs still lead though 4-1. Base hit to right. Alvarez will come around toward third. Brings up Brock Holt. Holt has an 8-game hitting streak on the line. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out both times. And with that, we're going to see some early Cubs bullpen action. Left-hander Jeff Beliveau and right-hander Manny Corpus. bounced over the Pirate dugout. Rizzo will step on first to end the inning. They get one, they strand a couple. 4-1 Cubs.
Serious Bank, member FDIC.
September baseball, partner.
Next.
It took the Pirates 2 relievers to get the final out of the 4th inning, and here's right-hander Kyle McPherson in the 5th. Cubs lead 4-1. It's like everybody we talk to seems to be on board with the idea of changing the September roster rules. And I really think it's going to happen. You know, we talked about a manager's strategy changes once you get into September. I mean, how about the idea of having matchup guys? As Clevenger hits a high fly ball to left, Marte makes a catch. Now, let's say you build your 25-man roster a certain way, and you've got a left-handed specialist. His job, you know, Randy Choate, you had Mike Myers, right? Guys who come in to get one tough left-handed hitter. Now, you're not going to pinch hit for your 3 or 4 hitter generally, but let's say it's a 6 or 7 hitter late in a ball game. Well, in September, you really negate that advantage of your 25-man roster when the other team has 11 guys available on the bench.
Really takes a lot of the strategy of trying to get those favorable matchups, especially late in a close ball game. Just takes that completely out of the game plan.
And I also think, you know, and I haven't watched the White Sox a lot lately, but I know Robin has been very liberal in how he's used his bullpen. But, you know, I'm not criticizing Clint Hurdle today for what he did. I mean, he's got to take his starter out, who was not throwing strikes. You've got Anthony Rizzo coming up, so you want to go to a lefty. But again, you're in a critical ball game, and you bring in a guy who has 3 major league appearances to get the Cubs' number 3 hitter out. Why? Because he's on the roster, and if he's a lefty, you're going to use him. You can speak from experience as a manager. If you've got players, you're going to use them.
Well, especially if you have the luxury of bringing up pieces that may only have one value to the ball club.
Yep.
We were talking about it with the Reds and the idea of bringing up Billy Hamilton strictly to use as a pinch runner. Should the Reds, need to do that down the stretch as Jackson takes a look at a called third strike. I mean, that's something you wouldn't do during the regular season probably, is carry a player that only had one value to the ball club. But for teams that are looking to get into the postseason, that one pinch run appearance might win you a division or win you a spot in the wild card playoff. You might bring up that one left-handed pitcher to come in and get a tough out at some point. You may bring up a strong defensive catch and throw guy, just in case you're playing against a team that runs a lot and you have to make a double switch late in the ball game, and you bring in a strong defensive catcher. Just a lot of different facets of that expanded roster, and as we've talked about before, it just seems so odd to play 5 months of the season with one set of rules, and then suddenly in the most important month in the season, the rules change.
So Jed Hoyer, the Cubs have used 52 players this season. There's Theo Epstein, the Cubs president of baseball operations. They were both down on the field watching BP today as Albert Almora don the Cubs uniform. Jason Birkin will make it 53 players tomorrow. It's a single season franchise high. A 1-2 pitch. Now 2-2. That'll land fair for Barney. He has his second hit. A 2-out double.
Darwin Barney clears that front hip and front shoulder so quickly, he'll get his share of these slashing base hits to the opposite field. Not exactly a line drive, but able to keep it fair down into the Pirates bullpen for extra bases.
Hey, baseball fans, make sure and tune in during the 6th inning today. If a Northside player hits a grand slam during the 6th, Tressa Hitchcock of Bartlett, Illinois, will win a Mazda CX-5. Go to WGNTV.com/contest to enter for a chance to win a Mazda CX-5 in various games on WGN TV. Brought to you by your local Chicagoland area Mazda dealers. Must be 18 to enter. Cubs lead 4-1 after 5. Trying to get his first big league win. Probably want to wish our good friend Mike Clay, WGN Sports cameraman, who's having Tommy John surgery on his elbow.
Don't worry, Mike. You'll come back throwing even harder than ever.
That's right. Recent bicycle accident. And that UCL replaced. Pirates will have Marte, McCutchen, and Jones against Russin. These two teams will start the season next year at PNC Park. Cubs schedule recently released. Buena playing in and on the edge of the grass. Rizzo in a couple of steps as well. Back up the middle as Marte got a piece of that. 1-2. Left center and a base hit. Well, it's starting to square up Russin a little bit here the last 2 innings. It's their 4th hit since the 5th. Thanks to the Chicago Cubs National League Ball Club, supplying DeAgostino's Pizza today to our WGN crew.
Didn't look like that for long. Moments after that picture was taken, all you saw was bottom of an empty box.
Well, that'll be it for Russin. We'll see if the bullpen can hold him the rest of the way. And we'll make Bob hungry as we go to break. The 12 Cubs season, including the rest of this homestand against the division rivals, the Reds and the Cardinals, beginning this Tuesday through Sunday the 23rd at Wrigley Field. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Here's impressive rookie right-hander Jay Chapman. He has certainly opened some eyes as he deals a strike to McCutchen. Marte at first, nobody out. Good job by Chris Russin. Exiting with a 3-run lead. That was a changeup that got away from Chapman.
That's his best pitch. He sets it up with a fastball and a slider, but the changeup far and away his put away pitch, his strikeout pitch. Real good arm action, real good fading movement on that changeup when it gets into the hitting zone.
Came over from the Braves in the Paul Maholm Reed Johnson deal on July 30th. Runner goes. Here's a throw by Clevenger late. Meantime, a 3-1 count on McCutchen. Well, Marte got picked off in the 4th, but he steals a bag here in the 6th. So Clint Hurdles decided, when I get guys on, I've got to be aggressive. We're not scoring enough. On the ground, Valbuena will get McCutchen, who's 0 for 3. Get him to bounce to third on a 3-1 pitch.
Cubs have had his number those 3 games in Pittsburgh. I mentioned the only hit he had in the series was a solo homer against Chris Russin. He did walk a couple of times, but rolls over on a 3-1 changeup. It's an easy 2-hopper right to Valbuena at third. Quick peek to the runner at second to drive him back to the bag, and then a toss across the diamond for the out.
Changeup strike on Garrett Jones. James Russell's up. See, Chapman really hunched over at the waist.
He's got some Inspector Gadget in his stretch position out there. One of the more unusual setups, even just to get his signs all bent over. Little Michael Morse action there as he pulls his left knee up toward his midsection, turns his upper body the other direction, ultimately gets into his set position.
Bueno with a diving stop. Up with it. Save. Good stretch by Rizzo, but they could not get him. That's an infield hit.
Nice stop by Valbuena, diving to his left. You could see Marte running past. He realized that that third baseman straying that far from the bag was going to allow him to advance from second to third. Rizzo with a tremendous effort over there at first as he stretches out as far as he possibly can, but Garrett Jones rather, just ahead of the throw to first.
Chris Bosio to the mound. Abby Sanchez due up. Well, we have a chance. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Chris Bosio said get a 2-hopper to Castro, 6-4-3, and we're out of it.
We showed you Jay Chapman's somewhat uncomfortable looking setup position in the stretch, and Gabby Sanchez almost mirrors that in the batter's box. Crouched over, all his weight on that back leg. It doesn't look real comfortable. Of course, it's not supposed to be comfortable, it's supposed to be functional. Every hitter has what he feels is the best setup for him to be in a good hitting position when that ball is released.
Base hit. Marte scores 4-2. Oh, was hit very hard by Sanchez. Just eluded Darwin Barney.
Sanchez definitely looks like one hitter in this Pirates lineup, at least today, that is more locked in than the rest. Man, he has to get up on his tiptoes to hit that ball through the right side of the infield for an RBI base hit. Also doubled and scored back in that 5th inning.
Close the book on the starter Russ at 5+ 2 runs. We got a good pull power, and the wind today would favor the type of hitter, Michael McHenry. The only danger for him would be keeping one fair if he gets a hold of one to left. Tony Watson up for the Pirates. Jones at second, Sanchez at first. Pirates with a run in the 5th, another here in the 6th. And a 3-1 count. Alvarez on deck. Chapman may not get a chance to face him. Can't get McHenry here. James Russell available. And the pitch. They're loaded. Big spot in this game now. Cubs with a 2-run lead, but the Pirates have the tying runs in scoring position, and it will be Russell to come in and face Pedro Alvarez. So 3 on, a run in. Cubs 4, Pirates 2. We'll be back.
Budweiser will donate $5,000 for every Cubs walk-off win to Folds of Honor. Find us at facebook.com/Budweiser to see how you can help support our nation's soldiers and veterans.
Busy year for James Russell. You see, he's been pretty busy, not typical matchup lefty. He can get righties out too. 62 innings over his first 69 appearances. Big spot here, though, as he faces Alvarez. A slider for a strike. Three on, one out. Outside. Fans looking through the knothole over on Sheffield. We call them the knothole gang. It's kind of our informal name for them. First time I know you've ever heard that
original
term.
Yeah.
Kick the 1-2 pitch. Bounce to Rizzo. He's going to step on first, and he fires home late. Really the only play he had. So it's 4-3. Alvarez will get an RBI. Second and third, 2 outs.
Slow hopper leading him right to the bag at first. That's the easy decision. Just didn't have enough time to complete the double play with a possible tag play at the plate that time. Just the mere act of getting the ball out of his glove and into his throwing hand made the force play at first base a foregone conclusion before throwing to home.
That run charged to Chapman, the first run he's allowed in the big leagues. And Clint Barmas pops it up. Foul ground. Clevenger can't make the catch. That ball right up near the barrier, and Barmas with new life.
Right off the hands of Clint Barmas. Just that much too short. Well, it wasn't popped that high in the air because it was hit down so close to the hands, but you hope that doesn't come back to hurt the Cubs.
A Neil Walker sighting. Switch hitting second baseman's on deck. Not in the lineup for the 16th consecutive game, but low enough to pinch hit.
It seems odd that Ben Hertel would use Walker as a right-handed hitter off the bench. His numbers are so much better as a left-handed hitter. He hits 50 points higher for batting average, and all 14 of his home runs have come as a lefty. But in the on-deck circle to taking it bat against James Russell, should we get that far.
Pirates involved in another nail-biter. They've been losing all of these types of games here lately. If they were down 4-0 a couple of innings ago, they've scratched their way back to 4-3. 2-2 on Barmes. Russell ready. Another 2-2 outside.
After a series of pitches on the inside part of the plate and off the corner inside, tried to nip that outside corner with a breaking pitch, just left it out there a little bit too far.
Another 3-2. He walked him. Well, you would assume this would be it for Walker. He'll hit and then come out of the game. If he were able to go on defense, he probably would have started. Remember, they started a left-handed hitting second baseman against a left-handed starter in Chris Russell.
We talk all the time, Len, about managers, and one of your primary jobs as a manager is to put players in a position where they have the best chance to succeed. I don't think that's the case with this at bat for Neil Walker. Neil Walker's a good player. He's a good hitter. I mean, he's gotten his share of hits as a right-handed hitter, but boy, all the numbers on the stat sheet would tell you that he should take an at bat as a left-handed hitter.
I guess the counter is with the big bullpens, it might be tough to get him in a situation where Dale wouldn't turn him around, bring in a lefty. At any rate, an 0-2. That's high. He never did go to the DL because of the expanded roster. But essentially spent 15 days on the DL. He missed 15 games.
And because of his injury, maybe it's so discomforting for him to swing from the left side of the plate that you can only use him as a right-hand hitter. There may be extenuating circumstances that we're not aware of.
Yep, it's possible. And with him pinch hitting today, the question is, will he be ready to start tomorrow? We'll find out tomorrow. Swing and a miss. He got him on a high fastball, so the Cubs at least maintain their lead, but now it's only one.
Time now to take a look at our BMW in-game box score. The 5 guys at the top and Darwin Barney hiding down in that 8th spot have done all the damage today. Guys really filling up the box score. The 2013 3 Series with X-Drive is here. Visit your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana BMW Center to test drive one today.
Left-hander Tony Watson in for the 60th time. 6'4", 223. Product of the University of Nebraska as he faces David DeJesus, low and outside, ball 1. Cool sunny afternoon here at Wrigley, and the Cubs lead 4-3. Watson's a guy whose ERA is deceiving, or can be deceiving, because of all the inherited runners. Usually comes in with men on base. He and Randy Choate have inherited the most runners in the majors, 59. So this must be odd for him to look around and see nobody on base starting an inning.
Watson's been pretty good over his last 17 appearances. His ERA stands at 1.32 in that stretch. Had a rough month of July. In 7 games in July, his ERA was 6.14, but has really settled in here late in the season.
Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Cubs.com shop. Nice. Give it to a kid. Called strike 3. Jesus knew it. I'm going to hit the mitt. Good day for Valbuena. He's lined to center, but then doubled, walked, and scored 2 runs. Well, what a win for the Orioles yesterday in 14 innings, 3-2 over Tampa Bay to complete the 3-game sweep. Well, the Yankees shutting out the Red Sox last night 2-0. Still a first place tie in the East. And the Orioles will not have a losing season for the first time since 1997. They're 26-11 over their last 37 games. And they start another big series tonight in Oakland. Joe Saunders and Tommy Malone, matchup of lefties. That could be a possible wild card round matchup. But the A's have a better record than the Yankees do. Swing and a miss.
Payroll about what, $150 million less. I think the A's are right around $55 million this year. Total team payroll.
A's could not complete the sweep in Anaheim. Shut out 6-0 by the Angels. Jared Weaver got his 17th win. It also ended Oakland's 12-game road winning streak.
Yeah, Oakland had a 12-game road winning streak, and Houston's won 16 games on the road all season.
All 4. In terms of, we talked about surprises. The Orioles and A's, and much of the season the Pirates. I guess the Nationals would qualify. The White Sox maybe even. Ray Searage, the pitching coach, is going to come out before Rizzo bats. On the flip side, if Detroit doesn't make it, it would qualify as a huge disappointment. How about the Angels? Albert Pujols, C.J. Wilson. And they're on the outside looking in at the moment. Defending champs in the East, Central, and the West in the National League all could be on the outside looking in. The Phillies, the Brewers, and the Diamondbacks.
Of course, the Red Sox get their own category for disappointment.
And then the Red Sox. You're right. 64 and 80. Side to Rizzo. 2 big RBIs on a double in the 4th. Andrew Cashner's scheduled to make his first appearance tonight since July 3rd for the Padres as they host the Rockies. And won the count. That second start since July 3rd. 5 innings against Arizona a week ago. Just 68 pitches in that outing. Watson will check on Valbuena. Big series continues in Los Angeles later tonight. Cardinals and Dodgers. Right-hander Joe Kelly against lefty Chris Capuano. Capuano struggled in August, but a good start to September. Marte moving to his right. He's got it. And Valbuena has to retreat. Johnson will not get an opportunity to face Soriano. Clint Hurdle wants a right-hander. That's Jared Hughes coming on. 1 on, 2 outs, 4-3 Cubs in the 6th. Pirates on a comeback trail after trailing 4-0. Chris Russin trying to get his first major league win. Visit your local Chicagoland Honda dealer today and test drive a 2012 Honda Accord. Right-hander Jared Hughes, a 6th Pirate pitcher in this game.
Fastball slider pitcher is Jared Hughes. Pretty good heater, sitting in the low to mid 90s.
Missing Soriano with 2 outs and 1 on. He just hit him. See McHenry telling his pitcher to calm down.
Started right at him. Some tailing action on the fastball. Nowhere for Soriano to go. Your natural instinct is to try to back away from the pitch, but when it's behind you, you end up backing right into it.
You may be wondering, well, you know, Clint Hurdle's now used 5 relievers. How many does he have left? Well, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Hisanori Takahashi, left-hander, and right-handers Jason Grilli, closer Joel Hanrahan, Jeff Karstens, Brian Morris, Chad Qualls, Chris Resop, Rick Vandenherk. Castro deep to left, gone. That's a 3-run homer. And it's back to a 4-run lead.
Thirteenth bomb of the season for Starlin Castro. Got on that sinking fastball off the plate inside, but quick enough to get the barrel to the ball. Very little doubt about that one. Line drive into the bleachers in left field, just inside the pole down there.
Yes!
7-3. Well, you know, you just love this. The 3 walks in the 4th resulted in runs. A walk, a hit batter here in the 6th. Both proving costly to the Pirates pitching staff. Clevenger bounces. Holt will get him. Castro's knocked in 4 today. 3 on a home run. It's 7-3. Bud Fan Cam. Big star by power pop icon, the late Alex Chilton, and September Girls. That's our Bud Fan Cam, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Starlin Castro supplying a lot of the offense today. 3-run homer, 4 RBIs in all, 75 on the year. James Russell back out to start the 7th. One and one on Holt. Lights are on. Shadows starting to creep over fair territory, right up along the third base line. High pop up, handled by Barney. Holt is 0 for 4. Chicagoland viewers, if you want to wear what the Cubs are wearing, then text Ivy to 88019 right now for your chance to win an authentic game-worn jersey from the Cubs. Be sure to go to Cubs.com/authentics for more authentic Cub memorabilia. That'll be it for Russell. Comes Manny Corpus. Manny Corpus with a 1-1 count. Starling Marte. There's a strike on a slider. 1-2. These two-tone shoes. Protector there on that right shoe. Knocks it down. And he gets him.
Several members down the truck that think perhaps Manny Corpus is wearing saddle shoes. I don't think so, but I know you've got a pair of golf shoes that look like that.
Yeah, golf shoes, sure. Yeah. McCutchen with 2 outs. His team trailing by 4. He has not been an offensive factor. 0 for 3. One and 2. Cubs led 4-0. Pirates then scored 3 before the Cubs got the 3-run homer from Starlin Castro. How about that opposite field power? Andrew McCutchen now is a factor in this game. 7-4. That's his 27th of the year. Certainly didn't get help from the wind. It's actually blowing in that part of the ballpark.
You know, the tomahawk swing on a pitch up and away from him. We talk about that backspin all the time. That'll help a ball carry through a breeze, and McCutchen has no problem reaching the bleachers in right through that wind blowing in off of Lake Michigan.
To Garrett Jones. That's a strike. Jones came in hitting over 300 on the road. And he wanted it. Just missed the back door there on the slider. 3 balls and a strike. Punched out into center. And he's still alive for Sanchez.
Now the reason Manny Corpus wanted the previous pitch so badly is because he's another guy that knows he can't afford to pitch to the middle of the plate very often. When you fall behind in that count and you need to throw a strike, man, he's not overpowering with his fastball. He does have quite a bit of movement on the sinker and the slider, but if he's got to bite off too much of that strike zone, he becomes very susceptible.
Rookie Jeff Beliveau up in the Cub bullpen. He just started to throw.
Based on what we've seen in the ball game so far today, this is the most dangerous hitter in the Pirates lineup today. Gabby Sanchez has hit the ball hard 3 times. Has a couple of base hits to show for it, including a double back in the 5th and a single in the 6th.
As you know, I'm an amateur lip reader, but it looked like Chris Bosio referenced McCutchen. And I would guess he was saying forget about McCutchen, keep the ball down. Nothing you can do about it now. of times strategy's not discussed really at all. It's just a little pat on the back. You're fine. Trying to
get the pitcher's head back in a good spot. You know, forget the negative.
Cue shot. Barney will charge it, and that'll end the inning. Johnny B with the stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, WGN Radio's Jonathan Brandmeier.
Thank you, Gary Presti. Gary Presti, by the way, 2,000 straight games as the Chicago Cubs organist. Give it up. All right, Harry, this one's for you. Here we go. Let me hear you now. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Come on now. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. Come on, or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get crazy!
Cubs lead 7-4 as we get into the bottom of the 7th. Jonathan Brandmeier, who's usually napping, I think. At this time of the
maybe.
Day.
Thank you, Len. I appreciate that. This is This is the sacred temple. I am in the sacred temple, ladies and gentlemen. Len and Bob, this is just amazing, amazing.
It's great to hear your voice every morning on WGN Radio. You having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a great time. There's no doubt about that. I wanted to make sure that the people did hear about Gary Presti. 2,000 Cubs games. Solid playing the organ for the Chicago Cubs. One of the best he is.
Since 1987.
Right, one thing a lot of people don't realize, Jonathan, when we have rain delays here at Wrigley Field,
what happens?
Gary plays that organ for hours at a time.
Yeah, but see, this is what I'm saying about your job, you guys. This is a tough gig, what you've got here, and this is always blows me away that you do this for a living. You've got rain delays. You don't know what's going on out there. People are stalling and slowing down, and you got to fill it. You got to do something, right?
Jackson bounces to third, and bad throw by Alvarez. Air mails that 4 rows up into the seats.
Air mails it.
It'll be an error.
Number 23 on the season for Alvarez. He possesses a really strong throwing arm, but I think he really wanted to show it off on that routine play. Wanted to test how high his first baseman could jump there. Flings it up into the crowd, and Jackson will end up at second base.
So it'll bring up Darwin Barney. We don't want to do a talk show here during a baseball game, but I would imagine the school situation has been front and center, and we see a lot of kids at the ballpark today. It may be their last chance for a while.
I was going to say, this might be the
matinee.
time, right, Len, to take advantage of it now. A great Friday afternoon in Chicago. You can now do it, kids, because this might be it. It's great.
Barney shows bunt.
Barney Shows Bunt was the name of my first album. Did you like that or no? I don't know. I did, yeah. A lot of people did not like it.
Concept album.
Yeah, it was a concept album, yeah. Jazz Calliope fusion. Yeah.
Thanks, by the way, Bob, for remembering that. That's pretty impressive.
So the band now at 30 years and running.
Yeah. Oh. So look at this. Barney shows bunt, and there, of course, there was the bunt. So,
right.
But see, this is the thing about this job. How do you know? You have to know when to zip it. Which my boss would like to find out how they get that to happen.
It's different on radio than TV.
But you have to talk in pockets.
You can talk through a foul ball on television, whereas on radio you have to pause and let Pat or Dave Ennett or Keith call the pitch.
Yeah, those guys I just found out make this up, though. A lot of stuff up. They're not even. They were facing the opposite way. They weren't even looking at the field. You probably know that, though, right, Bob? Bob looks at me like, yeah, I know.
Everybody does that.
Walls will make a good throw to get Barney. It goes 1-4 to get Jackson to third.
And then they have to take these notes. They have to always write things down in here.
Oh, yeah. Brian LaHare will pinch hit.
And this is a particularly tough time of season for us, Jonathan.
I was going to say.
Expanded rosters in September. Each team can have up to 40 players that they're, right there on the bench. You can run them in, run them out, pinch hitters, new pitcher, new pitcher, new pitcher, pinch hitter, pinch runner. And
you couldn't prepare for all of them because you don't know they're coming, right?
We don't even know who they are.
So they're making names up here. I'm finding out a lot of things that are really shattering this great myth of Wrigley Field broadcasting.
Well, we do a lot of day games, and people ask us, how do you get up for a Friday afternoon game after you get back from Houston or something after a late night on Thursday? But it's a good question to ask you. You're up and at 'em early, and you've got a ton of energy. Is it difficult to do some days, or are you just raring to get going every day?
I think you guys know the answer to that, right? I don't know. I can answer for you on this one. When I walk into Wrigley Field and see this, I just get jacked up. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't. And if you're not, then you're probably doing the wrong job, don't you think?
Yep.
And you could just see it, you guys. You can see it when you watch you guys on television. You can hear it in your voices. And I can see it now. Although Bob just, as I say, he left the. Where did Bob go? He just took off. That's crazy. I'll be right back. He said, shut the kid up. But that's it. That's the answer.
1-1 on Brian LaHare. It's outside.
But
pretty good view up here, isn't it?
It's just beautiful. But how do you, when it gets really, really crazy in the heat of a great game and a great season, when it gets crazy, how do you concentrate here? This has got to be nuts. Right down here has got to be nuts, right? Just crank these headphones up.
Tunnel vision right here.
You got to have it, right? You got to stay focused.
Bounce back to the pitcher. And they've got Jackson caught. And the tag applied by McHenry. So Qualls just blocked that hard hit ground ball, and they get that second out.
Wow. That looked like that might have hurt the pitcher.
That was real close to a damaging ground ball right there. He did a nice job of getting his glove up to protect himself, and in doing so just kind of blocked the ball and makes the shovel toss onto the catcher McHenry, who just handles the rundown all by himself. Takes Jackson all the way back near the bag at third before applying the tag.
And that looked like it might have hurt.
Now, how active are you on Twitter? I know you have a Twitter handle.
Yeah, not really. They're trying to convince me to play with it more. I'm not really
Bob's
into it.
kind of in your shoes.
Bob, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. Who wants to know that I'm having dinner somewhere, or I had a great burger at wherever, or I don't know. We're tweeting some of this out, obviously, because I think there's so many Cubs fans out there that are into this and excited by it. But I don't know. Yeah, I just ate something.
What it's interesting for is, like, I watched the Bears game last night. Just the instantaneous.
Immediate.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
You could say the
get
immediate.
Get rid of Cutler,
yeah,
get rid of the coach, do this. It's like every 2 plays, he's the greatest, he's the worst.
That's sports, right?
Right.
That is sports. You're up, you're down. Hey, listen, I was here on opening day, and there was a beautiful vibe in the air. I mean, it was just, magnetic. It was unbelievable. And, that's sports. That's the way it is. Last night, I loved it. I'm going to check those Twitters out because that had to be brutal last night.
It was.
Pack, Bears. Huh. And fans don't like to hold back very often.
No, especially behind a Twitter handle that might not be their real name.
Well, there's the problem right there. I always say to people, if you read about yourself online, never scroll down. Don't scroll down.
Just go to the comments section.
Yeah, don't go to that section. Read the story and move on.
5:30 to 9 a.m. on WGN Radio. Jonathan Brandmeier. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, you guys. It's a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Late for a wild card contender that has been fading here lately. Sean Camp is on here in the 8th. Henry, Alvarez, and Barmes due up for the Pirates. And yes, they do have action in their bullpen.
What a shot.
Sean Camp, the 4th Cub reliever. Pirates have used 5. Check that, 6 already.
Tell you another thing, partner. My scorebook, or my scorecard rather, was not designed for September baseball.
How many slots do you have for the pitchers?
I've got 1 for the starting pitcher, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for relief pitchers, which you rarely exceed during most of the regular season. But at this time of year, you need about 20 slots under that starting pitcher.
Brian Morris backs up Valbuena. Strong throw to Rizzo. Alvarez has knocked in a couple.
Could be a possible moneymaker, Len. September scorecards.
I like it.
Got 3 or 4 slots underneath every starting player for pinch hitters, pinch runners, double switch replacements. And then the pitchers column have about 15 or 20 slots for all the relief pitchers you're going to see.
Card would be 2 feet by 3 feet. Brett Jackson lays out. Did he catch it? He did. What a play by Brett Jackson out in center. Totally laying out, and he got it.
Boy, I'd have to believe for Brett Jackson, the biggest concern is he going to crash into a teammate? But on this particular play, he trapped it. Oh, sold it well. No argument from the first base dugout. They probably couldn't see it from their vantage point. He made it look good, though.
Yes, he did. So as you were saying, Bob, we don't need replay for everything.
No, not for everything.
Travis Snyder will hit for Barmas.
I was just saying, it seems like every time Brett Jackson goes after a tweener, he either runs into a wall or one of his teammates. That time only the grass.
It's the most we can actually get on one graphic. Two and 0 on Snyder, acquired from Toronto on the trade deadline day of July 31st for right-hander Brad Lincoln. Missed a few games recently with right hamstring discomfort. 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter since. Well, speaking of Twitter, I know there are Pirate fans right now yelling on Twitter at Clint Hurdle for not arguing after our replay indicated that Brett Jackson trapped that ball in center. But here's the thing. Clint could have come out and argued for a half hour. He could have gotten kicked out. It would not have changed the call. So save your breath.
And I mentioned the vantage point that you have in the dugouts here at Wrigley. Even since the field has been smoothed out, not easy to see.
Ball strike 3. Camp gets a little help from his center fielder and the umpires. Times are waiting. Grab some buds. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Jordy Mercer in to play shortstop as right-hander Brian Morris will make his Major League debut.
He did spend 1 day with the Pirates back on June 24th, but was immediately optioned out the following day. Never appeared in a Major League game, so making his debut here at Wrigley.
Facing Luis Valbuena. 86 for ball one.
2-2 with 5 saves and a 2.67 ERA in 46 relief outings for AAA Indianapolis this year.
Ground ball knocked down by Sanchez. He'll flip to the pitcher, Morris, covering. Anthony Rizzo has walked, doubled, and gone 1 for 3 officially with 2 RBIs. The closer, Carlos Marmol. That one off himself. Brett Jackson and Anthony Rizzo both back in the lineup after battling day-to-day injuries. Jackson's case, he missed a week's worth of time. McCutchen in center. 2 away. Ground ball pulled foul. One at third. Brian Morris went to Motlow State Community College.
Motlow?
Motlow.
Never heard of him.
Smyrna, Tennessee.
I've heard of Smyrna, Tennessee, but maybe that's Georgia. Is there a Smyrna, Georgia, too?
Smyrna, sorry.
Piqued my interest. I'm going to have to look and Motlow.
The Motlow Bucks.
The Bucks. Okay, save me the trouble.
A roller to Mercer. Stretched by Sanchez. Quick 1-2-3. In the 8th. Nice job by Morris in his debut. Marmol coming out for the save chance. Tony Campana into play left for Soriano. Comes Carlos Marmol. Not argue with the results, can you? 18 in a row going back to May 2nd.
It's not hard to figure out why. I mean, he's had some games where he struggled with this command, but was able to tap dance around the base on balls. But for the most part, he's been throwing a lot more strikes, especially with the fastball, which makes that devastating slider even better. Unfortunately, just hasn't had a lot of save opportunities in the second half of the season.
He's trying to save it for Chris Russin in what would be his first major league win. Alex Presley will pinch hit. Marmol ready. Pitch. 2-1. Back with you here on WGN Sunday afternoon. Game 3 of this series. Left-hander Jeff Locke. Right-hander Chris Volstad. Pirates don't come back here in the ninth. It would be their 10th consecutive road loss. 7th in a row overall. Presley hit by a pitch. Pirates try to pile up some base runners. That's the painful way to do it.
If you're a defender on the right side of the infield for the Cubs, you should be on full alert right now with Brock Holt at the plate. Grounded to second, grounded to first, and popped up to second.
Any of those would work just fine.
Absolutely. Obviously, we saw Holt in the series back in Pittsburgh and throughout the ball game here today. He seems to be the kind of player much in the vein of Tony Campana. You want him to hit the ball on the ground the opposite way. Stay out of the air, use your speed. Fortunately for the Cubs, he's hit his ground balls right at defenders on the right side of the infield.
Jam shot pop up into shallow right, and a basket catch by DeJesus, really battling the sun for a big first out.
You see the shadow behind him. Not an easy play for David DeJesus. A long run looking up into the afternoon sun. Had to make the basket catch about waist high, but one down here in the ninth. Nicely done.
Now the key guy, Jeff Clement, will pinch hit. And he's trying to get on for McCutchen, who could represent that tying run, and he's already homered today. A strike. Clement hitting for Marte. Back to Marmol. And out at second. Game over. Cubs win. 1-6-3 on the double play, and that does it. Well, you always worry about the throw when the pitcher gets a ground ball like that, but a perfect strike to Castro. Lots of time to turn it, and they've beaten the Pirates again, and the Cubs now, since that 4-game sweep in Washington, have won 6 of 7. So Carlos Marmol, the 5th pitcher in Cubs history with 3 consecutive 20-save seasons. Chris Russ in his first big league win, and the Cubs beat the Pirates 7-4.